Welcome into the Treehouse. Time to leave those worries outside. Well, almost all the worries. There is one I do need to bring up here in just a moment. But first, I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma. So there's one worry that creeps in no matter how high you build a treehouse or how low into the ground you bury, I don't know, a ground house or how thick the walls you make, whatever it is, it's still hot.
Yeah.
And it is so hot in Texas.
How hot is it?
Thank you, Raj. That ERCOT is now asking everyone to voluntarily conserve, which is, of course, not new. But every time I see the headline, it makes me laugh because I know that everyone just immediately just says F you to the voluntarily conserve after all the crap that Texas has been through in recent years when it comes to electricity.
I think it's even worse. I think people will literally go and turn their thermostat down a couple degrees when ERCOT does that just to be a dick.
Out of spite? Yes. Spite is an extremely powerful motivator.
I have to ask, what do you set your apartments at? Like, what is the setting? Like, what's your air conditioning at?
Am I home or away?
Home,
day or night?
average.
Do you have TXUs, free nights and weekends?
No, but when I go to bed, when I sleep, it's usually 67, 68.
67.
During the day, I usually put it about 72. If I'm not here, I put it up to like 76.
That's why your dog's tongue hangs out the mouth.
Actually, you'd think with those temperatures, Daisy's tongue would stay in her mouth. That's cold. So
yeah,
that's what we used to do. That's what we used to do. So when we lived in Texas, it was at night we would drop that AC down quite a bit because we like it cold. It's one of the reasons my wife and I work out so well together is that she likes it cold at night, and God bless her for it.
But here's my question. Okay. I don't understand this. Do you are you okay, let's make it cold, but let's get under the down comforter? Because there's a resolution to that.
It depends, Raj.
Okay.
So the comforter that we have is a very lightweight, very breathable down comforter. So it's meant to. Well, no, that's the one in Dallas.
Okay.
Here we just have it's like a blanket.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're not just throwing comforters around and needing to turn the air down because our bedding is too thick. No, we're not. No, we have appropriate bedding.
Yeah.
But Trey, we would keep thermostat, in the mid to upper 70s if we could while we were there. If we weren't, maybe turn it up to 79 or
gotcha.
Maybe 80.
Okay.
I know ERCOT, which is, but ERCOT, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, one of the most ironically named entities in the history of ever. If I remember last year or the year before, they released their recommendations on what they wanted Texans to set their thermostats. And it was like during the day or away, they wanted you to put it at like 82 or something. And when you're home, they said, let's see if you can do 78. And I'm with Trey. Everyone's like, bitch, please. All of our thermostats are like 74, 72.
Yeah, I'm a 74. I'm a good 74. Like, I'll turn it to 72 for a minute, and then I'm desert people. Like, I'm good with heat. I'm okay with it. I'm people it's hilarious to me when it's 109. I'm like, and everybody in the Middle East is like, yes, very pleasant day. It's very nice. Put the jacket on. It's very cold. 107.
But that's a dry heat.
Yeah, I've been when I did the travel show for Amazon. We did camel racing in the desert in India, and we get there we're supposed to be there at I think 10. We didn't get there till 11, and they're like, that window. I'm like, the heat, and you could see the camels. I should have known something. Hindsight's 20/20. camels were in the shade. And I'm like, that's weird. This is kind of their hood. And then we had a huge tent with the air conditioning units pumping in, and we went to go do the camel racing. And my camel, when the race started, it took 2 steps and was like, "F this," and just sat down. And the handler
that's
came
actually
over.
that's actually a great barometer.
Yes.
That I wish that the meteorologists would use those
Yes.
in their weather forecast, because
It's
I
camel
would
sitting
pay a
heat.
lot more attention if, say, Pete Delkus had a shot at the zoo of the
Yeah.
African animals in the shade. Like that's a new
Yeah.
gauge that they can use
Yeah.
for the rest of us to visually understand how hot it is. The lions are in the shade. Maybe
Yeah.
you should do the same.
Yeah, if it's camel sitting hot, it's time. So about noon is when, like, and I asked the handler. He was trying to prod him to get him up, and I was like, "What's the problem?" I was like, "Is he hurt? Is he not used to this?" And he goes, "It's too hot." I'm like, "What are
He
we
just
doing
knows
here?"
better.
I'm like, "Why are we here? Like, if it's too hot for the camel, what are we doing here?" And then we wrapped it up around, I think, 12:30 or 1. Because it was 100, and I think it was 117 in the shade, and I think it was 123 or whatever it was. And they told us we had to leave because flesh starts cooking at 127.
Ooh.
So we were back, like we woke up at 6, got to the desert, back in the hotel by 3. I was like, well, that was a good day of shooting. Like, that was a good day of.
So on Thursday, August 17th was the hottest day of the year up until that day, and that broke the record for the year. But then Friday, things are supposed to be hotter. A temperature was expected to reach 110, possibly 111. Again, that's the temperature,
Yeah.
not the heat index. The record for August 18th is 112 degrees. That was set in 1909.
Okay.
And
See, now that's what I'm saying. 1909, it was 100 and what?
112.
They didn't have AC.
No.
Yeah. Let's try to live like them.
No. Oh, dear God, no. I like the progress we've made with air conditioning technology. I don't want to ever go back. I've heard of families that will do this in the summer of all times, where they'd go to camps that are designed to show families what it was like to live in the colonial era. I'm like, no, I want none of that. I'm pretty sure most of the country doesn't even want to revert back to the 60s, let alone the 1760s.
Pioneer camps. And ERCOT's new slogan is "Live like it's 1909." That's what it should be. That's what it should be. Conserve like it's 1909.
Yeah, the Texans may be asked to conserve power on Friday because extreme heat is testing once again the state's power grid. This summer will be remembered for some pretty extreme temperatures, and that has repeatedly sent the demand for electricity higher than it's ever been. Many are naturally wondering if the state's power grid will be able to hold up, to which ERCOT and the PUC, the Public Utility Council, kind of do a collective Elmo gif of, oh.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they're not, because they've already announced that Argyle is going to be have a rolling blackout tonight.
What's Argyle up to that they're getting that force?
I don't know what Argyle did to get into ERCOT's wrath, but
are the horse farts taking their toll?
My parents would do this thing. You were talking about the pioneer camps. My parents did this thing where we would go to, I don't know, like where would you guys go for your summer vacation? Did you, besides like your hometowns, or on vacation, where would you go? Pleasant climates or water parks or something like that?
Typically for us, it was a family member's house that we were required to go visit. So it'd be a road trip to, East Texas to visit my racist great grandmother, or it might be my more fun and pleasant grandmother in Tulsa, or actual Tulsa, Trey, not St. Tulsa. It might also be a visit to Worlds of Fun in Kansas City, or Six Flags. We would do that. And then twice when I was a child, we did Disney.
Wow. See, my parents would do this thing.
Oh, we also did Branson a couple of times. So
yeah. My parents would do this thing where we'd go to this magical place called New Delhi in the summer, and they have. And I don't know if you know, India with 1.4 billion people, they've been doing rolling blackouts forever. So you'd go to sleep just fine, and you would wake up literally drenched in your own sweat. And this was supposed to be our. So when the first time I remember that. So tell me what you did on your summer vacation paper that you're supposed to write when you got back to school. I'm like, not die. That's what I did.
Survived. Trey, what were your summer vacations?
I had very few. We went to Winter Park twice as a kid, and that really was about it. My dad was not a big traveler, and neither was my mom, and so
okay, so you kind of stayed local.
Yeah, stayed local.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Dan, I have to say something. When you identified your grandmother or your great grandmother as extremely racist, I think that goes without saying at this point. I think we all know that.
Everyone knew that my great grandmother Sarah was racist.
Generally people from that era were just had a different view on life.
That's the part of 1909 we don't want to live like.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't see, and you're right. Like I had an ex, and they lived in Arlington, and it was 64 in their house always. Didn't matter. It didn't matter if everybody was out of the house. Nobody turned it down. It was like I froze to death many a time. To the point where for Christmas they bought me another comforter for the bed
and some summer mittens.
Yeah, like it was those little things you can crack and put in your pocket to keep you warm. But yeah,
warmers,
yeah. So they So I understand, but I mean,
those are the types of people that ERCOT, the Electricity Reliability Council of Texas, is targeting when they say it's so hot, we need you to conserve. Whereas, Trey, I think you're correct as well. I think the majority of Texans, and I think people in general, when they're told to do something, we all want to go, F you. But especially when it's 112 degrees temperature with a heat index of 100 and India, we don't want to be told where to set our thermostat, so much so when ERCOT then comes out and says, hey, would you mind voluntarily conserving? My response is, would you voluntarily suck a bag of dicks?
Well, it depends on the bag.
No, honestly, ERCOT, when you ask me to conserve energy, I want you to suck so many bags of dicks, you look like Joey Chestnut on the 4th of July.
So 76.
Hey, you know how many fit into a bag.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
In the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
This segment of the Treehouse is brought to you by Cook DFW Roofing and Restorations. Their phone number 833-COOK-DFW. That's 833-COOK-DFW. The website cookdfw.com. Give them a call for a free roof inspection after all the excessive heat that we discussed in the previous segment. Daniel Cook has told us heat does and will affect the life of your roof. So give them a call so they can come out and let you know the status of it for free. 833-COOK-DFW. So Raj, I believe I showed Trey this a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think I've showed you yet. While we were gone in Texas, our house here in St. Thomas had a couple stay to house sit / pet sit. The main goal was to take care of our animals, right?
Yes.
We got the 2 dogs, the 2 cats, 8 chickens now.
Yep.
And And the main goal was for us to return to here from Texas
Mhm.
with all 12 still alive. Now, granted, Joel is like 16 now. He's
Okay.
55 pounds. He's like a 16-year-old dog, which makes him like a kung fu master in a movie old
Oh,
by
yeah.
human years. And it's weird because he'll stroke his like 4-foot long beard, but whatever. Point is, he's an old dog, and I was legitimately worried about whether or not he would still be here when we got back. Luckily,
Yeah.
he is. So we're very,
Oh,
very
good.
happy. We feel very, very blessed. However, now that we've been back for a number of days, we keep discovering things that the house sitters did, or in some cases did not do. So I'm going to give you the teaser to set the
Okay.
tone, okay?
All right.
One of the first things we found when we came home was we walked into this room, this office that you see me in.
Mhm.
And on an end table where a lamp sits, Tara found this. It is a it is a cardboard toilet paper roll with no toilet paper and a quarter sticking out of it,
Okay.
looking like a saw blade
Mhm.
flew off of a saw into it, except it's a quarter.
Gotcha.
Why? Why
Abstract.
is this quarter sticking out the side of a toilet paper roll?
I
And
think
why
I think it's a
did they leave it
metaphor.
on an end table for us to
Let-
find?
You're missing the abstract art, Dan. The metaphor is, it's on the end table because it could be a metaphor for our money, for our economy.
It's a statement on consumerism and how you should take your American money and shove it
and
up your ass.
flush it down the toilet.
Ah, that makes more sense.
See, you're missing the point. Or it could be money ain't shit. I don't know what it means. 332. Okay, well, we'll
Right.
mark that. But it could be money ain't a thing. I don't know what is. Have you looked it up?
It could be also, they could have been working on like a makeshift bong.
I don't know. I had my buddies in college made bongs out of many a thing. I've never seen that.
Oh, I
It could
have.
be, or it could be a guy who's like, I want to start doing magic.
No.
I don't-
I've seen them use toilet paper and
a quarter.
paper towel rolls for bongs.
Yeah,
So-
but what was a quarter do? Oh, would it be the thing to take out?
Open it up and then you can put something there, like you put the weed on, and then
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This is why I needed to ask you guys what this thing was, because I had faith that you might be able to come up with something possible, and I feel like you have, because
Mm-hmm.
this is not the only random thing we have found in our house since the people left. And keep in mind, we never actually met these people. We knew them from like friends of friends, right?
Okay.
And
So
we
you
saw
let
great
strangers live in your house?
semi quasi strangers. We talked to them beforehand. They were friends of friends, and we trust those friends. Those friends trust them, so therefore we just carried over the trust. Then obviously we get home and weird things start appearing like this. And Trey, I think you may be onto something, because this may have been the start of a white trash bong, because one of the things I found on the floor in the kitchen was a broken glass pipe.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
And it looked like it had had some various forms of smoke pass through it. So I took a whiff of it and I was like, yeah, that's weed.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So what I think then may have happened, if Trey is correct here, is they broke whatever glass pipe or bong that they brought and then had to resort to at least the failed attempt at the toilet paper quarter roll bong.
Do you guys not have Pringles in your house? You guys not carry the
No.
famous Pringles? I see. Okay.
We
don't have
we're,
a.
I think the hole
Soda
for
can?
Pringles is probably too big, because I mean, you have to have it where you can put it up to your mouth,
No. You can put the
and
pipe.
you have to have
I've,
both.
I watched it happen. That's why I said a long time ago, if corporations want to solve problems, hire stoners.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. That you give them a set of problems, and I mean, they're the
and they'll make a
MacGyver.
bong out of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, 2 balls of string and a paper clip and a rubber band. Next thing you know, they're high as a kite, because
All. I mean,
Because
at least,
like nature, stoners find a way.
yes,
yeah. I want to look at. Can we look up? Can we look it up? Paper roll with quarter.
Yeah, go
I'm
for it.
sure there'll be. I'm sure there'll be
So-
something.
So while one of you looks that up, let me give you an idea of some of the other things that we've discovered since the house sitters left.
Okay.
For example, we have the toilet paper roll with the quarter. Okay. We've also, hey, I had to make a couple of notes here. There's a missing wine glass. Have no idea where that is. And it's
Okay.
easy to know that some of these things were missing because we don't have very many of them. Like, we're not wine drinkers. We only had 2 wine glasses, so it's very obvious one's missing. So they didn't replace that. There's also a missing cereal bowl. I keep track of all cereal bowls in this house, and it ain't there. Also, we had told them, if you use anything, go for it. But just if you use up something, just replace it. That's all we asked, right?
Yes. Roommate etiquette.
Roommate etiquette, yeah. So what they went through and did not replace includes aluminum foil, 2 rolls of it, by the way.
Yeah, they're making bongs. They're making.
Yeah, so they went through all the aluminum foil, left the box with the tube in the box in the drawer without even throwing it away. Same thing with the parchment paper box. Same thing with our Tide Pods. They used all of our Tide Pods, and then instead of replacing it with new Tide Pods, they replaced it with the cheap box powder stuff you find in an upside down logoed laundromat. Other things that they had done. They moved furniture for some reason. No idea why. There's a box fan that we keep in the office kind of tucked away. It's in the middle of the room. No idea why it's in the middle of the room. They didn't even bother to put it back. They used up almost all my hot sauces. That's almost a felony offense in this house without replacing them. They watched numerous plants die because we have plants inside, so you can watch them go from green to brown. So they watched plants die. They also rearranged drawers, which has Tara wanting to hunt them down in the States because Tara's organized and she put all those drawers exactly how they're supposed to be. And then it's almost like they knew Tara did that, so they wanted to go into the Tupperware drawer and rearrange all of it just to piss her off. Also, there's these weird dust rings on the glass top patio table outside. And I think if you found the right hookah, I think their dust rings would match.
Hookah
So you
or
had
bong?
drug addicts. You had just drug addicts living in your house.
It sounds
because,
that way.
because
yeah.
the foil and the glass pipe. I've watched enough Intervention.
They also, for some reason, they removed a power strip, and I no idea where it is to this day. And they also, the candles that we have around the house, you know how like most people will buy candles from, Bath and Body Works and then never actually burn them, or only burn them a little bit just to make it look like they've been used to get a nice scent in the room. But those candles last for years.
Yeah.
Not ours. Ours lasted about 5 weeks for these people to live here, and they burned down all of our goddamn candles.
Maybe they're just sexy people. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe there's maybe put the foil hat on, burn some candles, we'll smoke some weed. And then
you know what? Maybe
we're gonna get.
It sounds
high.
like you just had stoners that got high and decided they were gonna rearrange furniture and do various things, do a lot of laundry.
They did use a lot of Tide Pods, and now what I'm worried about is that they got so high off of their toilet paper roll bongs that they didn't actually use the Tide Pods in the washing machine. I'm afraid they just straight up ate them.
Yeah, they did. Maybe they were in the Tide Pod challenge and were victorious.
I guess because they made it off island.
Maybe they were doing a little
temporary.
temporary Breaking Bad in your house, and you
Yeah.
had a little meth den in your house.
You know what, guys? Honestly, all things are on the table here because there's no way to, confirm or deny any of these things unless we ask them.
I've seen the foil thing where like I said, I've watched enough Intervention. I've seen the foil thing in the glass pipe where they put it's a way to smoke heroin.
I've also seen a girl I went to high school with. We lived in the same apartment complex, and she would occasionally ride with me to school. She turned aluminum foil into a pipe to smoke on the way to school.
Yes.
And so she fashioned the aluminum foil into a pipe, and then she took the little screen underneath the faucet in the sink and used that in the pipe.
Yes, I have seen that as well. Spring break. Necessity is the mother of invention on spring break. But yeah, have you talked to your other friends about this, about what happened?
Not yet, but it seems like we've discovered so many things now. It almost seems like we have to say something.
Yeah, or maybe they're just those people that are like, let's just move stuff around and see if they notice.
Oh, we noticed. We noticed.
The drawers thing is like that was done on purpose.
It certainly feels like it feels very aggressively passive aggressive.
Yeah,
To go into someone's Tupperware drawer and completely rearrange it.
Yes, and this is why I go back to my philosophy of why are you letting people you don't know? Okay, this is on you now. This is not their fault. You let them live in your home.
Uh-huh.
You don't know them.
No.
They that's their house now. You're lucky you're lucky they didn't start squatting and now you're back in Dallas and they have your pets in your house.
You know what, Raj? Honestly, with everything they've done
Yeah.
in this house and
Yeah.
and the way they left this house, I wish they were still squatting here when I got home. Because keep in mind, I had just gotten off a plane from Texas.
About to conserve their ass. Is what you're about to do. Wow, I just I would never. I had one time in LA. The ex-wife and I were going to India, and we're going to be gone for a couple of weeks because I rerouted us through Hong Kong, through Bangkok, so she could see her dad because they haven't seen each other in years, and that's where he lives. And it was one of her fellow Australians. Didn't know her, just found her on Australians in LA. And I'm like, all right, you sure? She's like, oh, she's an Aussie. It'll be fine. And I have a watch box, and we all know about my fondness for watches. I have a watch box, and
Raj loves watches.
You have no idea. And I have about 15 or 16 now. And I left my blue face Movado in the watch box. I took the other 4 or whatever that I was going to wear while I was gone. And I came back and I went, our fault. Not theirs, our fault. And she's like, what happened? And I was like, they stole my watch. This is why
are you
don't
sure it wasn't just like a rogue koala that she had as a
that's what I would call the girl that lived in that house. She was a rogue koala. That's what I call
with a nice watch.
She's or however much she pawned it for. But this is why you don't let people live in your house. You don't let strangers deliver you food. What are we doing? We're getting in people's cars now. Because they have a good rating? What are you doing? Our whole lives, we were told to stay out of people's cars. Well, they've got to charge.
We really have come full circle, especially. I'm especially tempted to get in somebody's car if they also have my food.
You're listening to The Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Yeah.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
This segment of the Treehouse is brought to you by Brooks Plumbing. Their phone number, 214-368-3838. That's 214-368-3838 for any and all of your plumbing wants and needs. Call the plumbers we trust here in the Treehouse at Brooks Plumbing. The website, brooksplumbingtexas.com. So, yeah, on that little break in there, I forgot to mention to you, Trey and Raj, yeah, the people that were house sitting / pet sitting for us, yes, they live in a van in the States the rest of the time.
No. Back up the story. You were talking about your upstairs, whoever they are.
We have friends have friends that live in a van, and we like these friends. They're young and responsible.
Let me recap
the story.
Recommended
their friends.
No. Let me recap the story. You said these friends came to you and said, because they're highly responsible friends and you love them, and they said, hey, These are our friends. They're like us. And you went, oh, okay. And they go, instead of living on an island, they just live in a van, and that's what they do. They just travel the states in a van.
Okay, you're correct. I'll rephrase and say it the exact same way that I told you in Train the Break.
Yes.
So our friends who we love and trust,
Mm-hmm.
they live on an island here, right?
Mm-hmm.
They live on St. Thomas, and they said, "Hey, we have these friends that are like us. They're young, but they're very responsible. They're great, and they live in a van stateside and travel the country.
Okay.
So they're
Now.
the same, except their living situation is different. That's what was told to us.
No. That's not a living situation. No. That's not their living situation is not different. You live in a house. They live in a car. That's a different. That's not a living situation.
Are we talking about like an RV type van, or are we talking about like the naked lady van my uncle used to have?
Or are these people solving crimes? Do they have a dog that talks? Like, what do we like? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, did you have? Was the mystery van
the
parked at the
talking
airport?
dog, the talking dog, and the weed? Then that does tie in.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Of
Had
course.
it been Daphne and Fred living in our house from the van life, we would have been fine. But instead, we got Shaggy and Scooby.
Zoinks. Yeah, of course. Now all of this. Now this isn't. This doesn't. All of it makes sense now. Yes, they took your Tide Pods. How else do you wash clothes when you live in a van? Like, you're not stopping to get Tide Pods if you can steal somebody's. They needed foil to cover up the windows in the van.
So you're saying all the stuff that turned up missing, it wasn't because they used it and replaced it. They just took it.
Yeah, and they don't know how to water plants because you don't have plants in a van.
You don't need to have plants in a van to understand to water green things when you're house sitting. Also, you know goddamn good well they got at least one plant in that van.
No, that one they burn. They don't water it. They burn that plant. And then the toilet paper roll and the quarter now makes sense. It's like, hey man, we used up all your toilet paper. We don't know how much it costs because we live in a van. So here's a quarter attached to this toilet paper roll because that's how much we believe your poop costs. Here you go.
Now, all of this, but the one thing that you said was missing that ties all this together is the power strip, because what they probably set up a grow house for 5 weeks, and they literally they grew their supply for a year.
Yeah. Your house was
that's why they filled the windows. They had the hydroponics going on, power supply. Yep. When you get your energy bill, if it's through the roof, you're going to know exactly what happened.
Yeah,
I'm certain. So that's the other thing I didn't tell you. I'm certain that the energy bill is going to be through the roof because one of the first things we noticed we got back, besides the TP roll with a quarter stuck in it, is the water dripping down in our what's basically it's like an open air basement. So the water dripping down underneath the house clearly had been doing so for a long time.
Yeah, you have to keep the weed plants moist.
Well, what I'm pretty sure they were doing is they were running the air conditioning so much and so cold, they clogged the main drain line.
Yeah.
So water was backflowing into the unit area and then into the concrete floor, and then so heavily, it was soaked up so heavily, it was then seeping through the concrete, dripping into the driveway.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the colder climate makes for a stronger strain. So let's just see what the market does in the U.S. After this trip. Let's see if there's a new strain called O'Malley Kush.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be O'Malley's house. Once in a lifetime strain. Yeah, O'Malley's house Tide Pod strain.
That's gonna be the best weed ever. Everybody's gonna talk about it.
All for a quarter.
Everybody on the scene's gonna be like, dude, these guys in a van rolled up and just gave us some O'Malley Kush. Oh, best weed ever. So cold. Tastes like dead plant. Yeah, this makes all the sense. None of any of this should surprise you.
So on one hand, I'm glad that I feel like we have a plausible theory as to what happened. But I'm mad now because I feel stupid, but also because I feel stupid in that I'm not getting a cut of any of my own kush.
They didn't leave you a sample.
No.
They should have left you the toilet paper roll with a quarter in it to pay you for the toilet paper, because that's how much they think it costs, and then just a little nugget right next to it as a hey man, thank you so much, and thank you so much for letting us profit off of your home. I love it. Okay, this makes so much more sense. I thought you were just letting random strangers live in your house, but
They probably should have left you some and just said, hey, you can make some good brownies with this, but hey, you need to go to the store and buy some foil.
you'll need parchment paper for the brownies.
You both. You right in the asses. You in the eyes. You in the nose. You in both ears at the same time.
P.S. Your Tide Pods are out.
And you both for being right. The truth hurts, man. Be sure to follow all things Treehouse.
You know what'll make it feel better? Some O'Malley Kush.
Numb the pain.
Follow all things Treehouse at Treehouse On Air, the website, treehouseonair.com. Follow us on socials. For me, it's at the Dan O'Malley. For Trey, it's at Trey Trenholm1. And for Raj, it's at Comedian Raj. Be sure to listen, which you probably already have, but just keep doing that. Listen, like, follow, share, rate, thumbs up, all the good stuff. Subscribe. We appreciate it. And tell a friend. The Treehouse is open.